How's everybody doing? I have a Quixel bridge installed, and if you go up to download settings over here, when you select that, you'll see textures and models. The textures, I enabled every one of these so that when I download one of these materials, I'll have all of these options. Depending on which one comes with what, I like to have all my options open, because sometimes I use different ones in different slots in Beam, in G, and sometimes I get a little different results. But for the most part, it's been pretty straightforward. I'll get the JPEGs, because honestly, I can't tell the difference in the PNGs and the JPEGs for the terrain paints. Other than the JPEGs are a lot smaller. And also, before you even get a terrain paint, you need to look at your terrain painter library, or your terrain painter tools, and find out what your resolution is for your terrain paints for that level. This is assuming you are using a PBR materials for your terrain paints. Which I understand a lot of people are reluctant to swap to PBR because it's a lot more complicated, but it's the more you do, the easier it gets. And I'm at the point now where I can pretty much make anything in the terrain painter for the PBR materials. It's just a matter of not everything always comes out like I want it to. This one, for example, I made this one myself. I didn't download it. I got it from overhead looking down on Google Maps at the ground from up high. And this grass also, that you see here. So let's go into our terrain painter. If you go to your terrain painter and you pull up the material library, you'll get this window. It may not be anchored in here. I have mine anchored, so I think it normally just pop up like that, but I prefer mine to be in here all the time. So what you have to do first is make a new material. But what you have to note is the base texture size. If you're going to use these textures as macros or as base textures, you need to know what the macro and the base texture, and if you decide to use a detail map, you need to know what that is. You can think of these as 3 different layers. You can just use one layer, or you can use 2 or 3. The base texture is what you see when you're far away. What you see from a distance. It's like, for example, these rocks here. Not that I didn't use multiple layers on this, but if you get up close, what you would start to see as you get closer, if you use the second layer, you would see the macro starting to appear, and if you get even closer, you would see the detail starting to appear. So each new material basically has 3 available slots. But if you just use just the base texture, which is what we're going to do for this, each one of these tabs here all have a base texture. However, you can get by with just the base color and ambient occlusion. You don't need the others, but they make it look a lot better. So with that being said, the base texture size is 2048 by 2048. So in here, we go to get us a new terrain. We'll get this mossy rock ground here. We'll tell it to get us the 2K resolution. Now Bridge makes a folder called downloaded in its folder, and you go to surface and this mossy ground here. So with all those options enabled, it gives us roughness, specular, normal, glossy, displacement, a cavity, a bump map, an ambient occlusion, and an albedo. Now we're not going to use all of them, but since it doesn't give you like well, let me just stick with one thing at a time. So the albedo, the normal, the roughness, the ambient occlusion, and then we'll use the displacement map as the height map. I'll just copy this entire folder to my clipboard, and in the level I have a folder called Terrain Paints. In that folder I will paste this new folder. That way all the materials are in there. I can decide which one I want to use. But like I said, it's pretty straightforward. 4 of these I know you always use the same ones. So let's name this new thing. I think it was called Moss Rock. You can name it whatever you want to name it, but ground model, we'll just make it I really don't know, maybe rocks large. Alright, so the first one, base color. Now once you go over to here, you'll navigate to your level, to that folder, and copy this to your clipboard so you can paste it each time you have to come back. You don't have to keep navigating to it. Everything except that first bracket that you see right there next to the letter L. Don't get that. So now that we're here, we copied this to our clipboard. We'll put the base texture in there. So that'll be the albedo. Oh, forgot. Before you can add anything, add the material. Once it's over here, then you can add to it. So the albedo will be the base texture. Now, like I said, the bare minimum to get by with: base color and ambient occlusion. The scale will not be 256 since we're going to use this kind of really just as an up close texture. We'll just do 8. We'll save changes to file, then we'll add the material. Now you can see it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now we just did ambient occlusion and base texture. If by some chance you only do one, you forget, and you just do one, it'll be black like this. Or if you got the wrong resolution, meaning that the texture is not 2048 by 2048, it was maybe 4K, or it was 1024 by 1024, you'll get the same result, black. But if you only have just the base color, even if it's right, you're only going to get black. And you can't use DDS format. They have to be either JPEG or PNG. Alright, so we put the ambient occlusion back in here. Now let's do the other three. The normal, roughness, and height. If you're going to use one of these, you have to use all three. So, the normal map will be the normal map. The roughness will be, you guessed it, the roughness. And the height map will use the one that they call displacement. Now when we save the changes, you'll see this looks significantly better. A whole lot better, in fact. But keep in mind, we're using this as a base texture, so it's the one that you see when you're really far away. It's probably not the best suited for something like this. In all honesty, this should be more like the macro texture, which the only reason I didn't use that as the macro is because I have to convert all them images to 1024, since that option is not there to download 1024. Alright, so let's do another one. Let's go back to here and let's see something that might suit us. I like using the ones that are like got really good roughness to them. You know, like they look like they got some roughness. You know what I mean? They look rough. But there are others in here that I just had type volcanic because I like all these jagged looking textures. But let's see. Let's do something different for this one. Let's go to our surfaces here and let's get something completely different. How about stones? Like you know, like cobblestone. Let's see what kinds of cobblestone. We got every kind that you can imagine. That probably will not look good as a terrain paint because of the pattern. Let's try this one. Or how about that one? So we'll download it. Then we'll copy that folder. Oh, that says stone floor. I guess it'll be alright. Copy it to our clipboard, and then in the our level, paste that folder, and back to the game. So we'll make a new material. Let's call this cobblestone. Let's see. I guess that'd be rocks too, right? Oh, they actually had a cobblestone already in here. Alright, add the material. And then we'll just fill all these out. So navigate back to. Alright, copy this to our clipboard. Alright, so the albedo to the base color, the normal to the normal. Shit, I thought I didn't copy that apparently. To my clipboard, damn it. Remember displacement for the height map. Which, I know I add that one. Oh yeah, you gotta change the scale. Yeah, I like that. Alright. Let's get another one. Let's do rocks, roofing, ground, jungle roots, other leaves. I haven't messed with any leaves yet. Roots, rocky forest floors, forest floor. Let's try that one. So download it and copy that folder. So new material. And there actually is a forest floor ground model. Add material, and then fill these back out again. I don't see it. Yeah, shit, I don't see it. I mean, I see it here, ground forest. Oh, there it is. Alright, albedo to base color. Normal to normal. Roughness. Ambient occlusion. adjust this placement. Let's change the scale to about 8. Save changes, then add it. So you have to kind of imagine, you know, other things in here that would be like on the forest floor to kind of get an idea. Once you got all other kinds of things in the scene, it'd look good. Also, you don't really see many forests that are flat. They're all like hills and whatnot. Let's do another one. See what we do this time. Grass. Well, if you do grass, then you need to do some ground covers too. Let's see what else we get. What the hell is that? Yeah, some crazy stuff in here. There's a chicken skin texture in here. Fabric debris, construction debris. Let's do that. Construction rubble. Did anybody else game do that? After like 2 updates ago, anytime I alt tab back to the game, it loses focus. The window just. It started with the update 26. It started doing that mess. Alright, new material. Let's use like I guess gravel. Probably be a good ground model for that. So That's what it looks like. Construction debris. I don't know, maybe you want to do something completely different. Maybe wood or marble. I haven't done any marble yet. I would think it would look just like marble. Tile floors. I don't know about those. I just ain't got the creativity for making things with like marble. Let's see what other woods, wood. There's lots of different woods. There's logs. There's wooden floors. Let's get that. Let's get a wooden floor. A wood cladding. Wooden planks. When you get like a shiny floor, like you'd see in your kitchen or something. How about that one? Right. Albedo to base texture. Normal to normal. Yeah, I know I've said this with everyone, but you know, people like to skip through videos, and if they didn't see the beginning, then they'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Roughness to roughness. Ambient occlusion to ambient occlusion. And there's no ambient occlusion for this one. Well, I reckon we could use a glossy one or something. Height map be the. I don't think this one's gonna look that good. It ain't got all the others that the other one got in it. Actually, I think well, let's see. This one's a little different than the others. Okay, so I forgot one. or one is not going to work. Huh. Well. Oh. No wonder. These are, for some reason, these are all 1024 on my 1024. Well, I guess if it's only got 1024 by 1024, that's all you're gonna get. But it don't say that, does it? Does it? I don't see where that says anything. Oh, look at the scale. See, like these are all like square. This one's actually not square. This one's actually it's cropped like 1 to 2, like a rectangle. So yeah, you can't use them. You can't use any of them like that. You can make a decal with that. Yeah, you could do that. So we just make a new material. Let's call it wood floor. Create. We'll switch to PBR 1.5, and now this one you can drag and drop from the asset browser. You don't have to keep navigating back, which I like. That makes things a lot quicker. Just before you even get started, go down to the bottom where additional info is, and where you see this material tag 0, type road and path with a capital P, a capital A, and a capital R, a capital A, and a capital P, road and path, and hit enter on the keyboard. Now the base color, let's go back one here. Alright, so the albedo to the base color. Metallic. I don't know if I'll do metallic. Normal map to the normal. Roughness will be the roughness. Ambient occlusion, well, there's not an ambient occlusion. We'll use the glossy for that. No. We'll put specular in there for that one. And advanced clear coat, we'll put gloss, and we'll change the factor all the way up to 1 and the roughness down to 0. And then in the roughness, for the roughness map, we'll slide that down to about something like that. We'll have it reflect the level. So in advanced reflection mode, level, and anisotropic filtering is check marked. Let's save the material, and then let's make a decal. See how it looks. In the inspector window, there's our wood floor decal. It's pretty damn detailed. That's a 2K texture too. Imagine what the 8K texture would look like. But you know what this would be good for? People that drive on a wood floor. Also keep in mind your width of your decal. So if you're 25 wide, you would want to adjust the texture length also. But that's a big decal there. We'd have to have like a 4K one to look good like that, so we ain't gonna use it that wide. We'll just do 5 and not sure if y'all know, but you can adjust the start and end fade of a decal too, so that it gradually feathers in. Oh, most important, if you make a decal, if you plan on putting any other decals on it or beside, like overlaying any of it, you'll want to make sure that in your material for that decal that you turn on alpha blend lerp alpha. If you don't, it's going to flicker really bad once you cover it with another. I'll show you what I mean. So like, say we duplicate this decal. Control D. I thought, yeah, Control D duplicates. So we'll put one over the other. Now you see they don't flicker, right? But if you turn off the lerp alpha, then you see it'll flicker really bad. You've probably seen this on people's custom maps and stuff. Yeah, that's how you got to do that. Now you may say, well, which one goes on top of which one? That's in the inspector window for the decal. It's got a render priority. The higher the number, the more priority it's got. See, the one on the bottom here is a 10 and the one on the top is a 10. But if you wanted the one, say, on the bottom to be above that one, then you would change this to like 9. And if you had even another one on top of that one, for example, and maybe you want that one to be on the bottom. Well, if one's 10, one 9, make the other one 11. And see how that works. And they don't flicker. Now, one thing I wanted to see, I think that looks pretty good. I want to see how some of the other materials kind of look in there. So in the material editor, when I still got the asset browser open so I can drag these over. Let me see how some of these others might look in here. Let's put the specular in the metallic and give it some metallic. Let's try a few of these, interchange a few of these. that's probably good as they're gonna get right there.